So tonight I watched a Mira Nair film called The Namesake, which came out in 2007. I have not read the book it's based on, and I saw a lot of reviews that were like, it's not as good as the book. And it's like, all right, great. I thought it was a great film. I cried several times, and not just because I'm having a very emotional day, but I would have cried regardless. I cry at movies. I'm an unabashed movie crier. It's kind of why I like to watch movies alone because I'm like a sobbing mess at the end. Um, I really loved this film. I particularly as it got to the end when there's like a thing at the end where the filmmakers dedicate it to their parents, and I kind of lost my shit a little bit because I was like, oh. Um, it's just because that's what it is. It's just this beautiful sort of hymn to parenting and how it takes you a very long time to grow up and realize when you do have good parents how good they were, you know. And I think it. And then I can't relate to being the parent of immigrants because my family has been in the United States for like 400 years. I don't have any immigrant ancestry, so I imagine the idea of being an immigrant, having your parents give up a lot and for you and being older and realizing how much of their life they gave for you must just be an overwhelming experience, which is the what happens to the main character in this film. Um, but it's 2 hours long and it is very much like an epic. It's in scope and in the amount of years that it covers. It covers about 30 plus years, I think. And it starts with the parents before they've met and how they get to the situation in which they meet in a one of those fixed marriages. And it's I never say his name right. Irrfan Khan and Tabu. I don't think I've seen anything with Tabu before, but I've seen Irrfan Khan in several films, and he not only is he like such a good actor and very subtle and does a lot of acting just with his face. He's one of those guys where like he doesn't even need dialogue. He can just like his face tells you everything you need to know. He's also really hot, so he's great to look at, and then he's like a superb actor at the same time, and you're like, yes, this is everything we need from our actors. Then Tabu is also she's a Bollywood star, and she's wonderful as the wife and mother, and who sort of gave up her own desire to be a singer to come and marry. Here's a kitty. Marry her husband and move to America to raise kids, and she's always doing what she thinks is best and finding that difficult. And then the son is played by Kal Penn. He's a great actor. I quite like him. And he gets to be very dramatic in this as opposed to his like Harold and Kumar that he's most known for. I have a kitty. She's so happy. Look at this kitty. She's so cute. Okay. Anyways, so he's obviously this film has a lot to do with names, hence the name, The Namesake. And the kid is named Gogol because they're waiting to hear from the mother's grandmother with a name, and it's coming in a letter, and they can't. They want to name what the grandma wants to name it, but it's America, and the baby can't leave the hospital without the birth certificate, and the birth certificate needs a name, and so they're trying to come up with a name that's not Baby Boy, like the hospital suggests. And although, sidebar, I had a great uncle whose name was Babe because that's what they named him. Because they hadn't named him when he left the hospital. True story. This happens. So they name him Gogol after the father's favorite author, and there's more to why this author means so much to him that is revealed to the son later on in the film in a very emotional scene where you're just like, oh my god, all the emotions. And then there's bits with like women taking husbands' names and what everyone's names mean, and there's a lot with what your name means and what it means to you, what it means to other people. and how it can mean different things to different people, even though it's your name. And as a person with a name that is always mispronounced, I can tell you it's kind of important to know and appreciate your name, I guess. I also firmly believe in not changing my last name if I ever get married. Not that people can do whatever they want when they get married. I just happen to like Ms. Marya Gates and will stay that. Any suitors out there. So anyways, a lot happens. Obviously, 30 years goes through in this film, and you follow this family, and as they, before the baby's born, and then as he grows into sort of an adult who can actually function on his own. And it's just such a beautiful film. I definitely cried several times. If it doesn't later touch you on an emotional level, you're probably dead inside, because it's a beautiful film. It has a score that's very reminiscent of the Pather Panchali films, the Apu films. Pather Panchali is the first one, the Apu trilogy, which if you have not seen the Apu trilogy, stop what you're doing. And I know it's not directed by a woman, but I don't care. Go watch it, because those movies are movies that make you appreciate the fact that we actually have cinema as a thing. And this film had a similar scope to the Apu trilogy. The Apu trilogy is from the birth of Apu all the way through the growth of his child, and it's like 40 or 50 years, I think, in the Apu trilogy. But that's 3 films, and they managed to sort of have that same scope. Mira Nair has the same scope in just 2 hours. It's kind of amazing. And it's sort of episodic instead of like a through line of this, and this, 3-act structure, whatever. It's more like just vignettes as time goes on, and I totally dug that structure. And the score is beautiful. Just utterly beautiful. It's done by Nitin Sawhney, who is British Indian, apparently. And it definitely was inspired by Ravi Shankar's score for the Apu trilogy. This is a beautiful film. You should watch it. I rented it on Amazon for $3. You should do the same, because it's great, and it will make you cry. Crying is good. It's a release. And there's a happy kitten. Let's see if we can you see a happy kitten? Look at that happy kitten. All right, everyone have a good night.